Bro, I hope I'm 84 still playing games. That would be crazy. I'm just like, my boomer hands can't keep up anymore. So, we got an interesting topic for today's video that I wanted to do a video on because it's kind of been a pain point for me, honestly, and it's kind of really made me not want to play this game. So, let's take a look here. One of the worst communities that I've seen in a long time, at least in dungeons. So, let me give my opinion first. You know, I think the dungeons are absolutely amazing, and I think the mechanics for these dungeons are like they're just enough to keep you engaged, and you know, they're not like too terribly hard where like you can't do it at all. However, you know, it really does take a team effort, right? So if everyone on the team is not on the same page, or you know, they really don't know the mechanics, then good luck. Good luck. You know, for instance, for the level 50 dungeon, Death Abyss, boy, oh boy, what an experience. You know, I probably have over 3 hours alone just in this dungeon, and I've yet to complete it, right? Every time I get to the final boss, you know, the party that I'm in will just eventually kind of disband, right? And usually the party that I'm in, like, will fail maybe like 4 to 5 times, and that's even like me explaining the mechanics to the party. But you know, a person will leave, and then another person will leave, and then just the whole party leaves. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's definitely been a very frustrating kind of experience, especially because I feel like I'm kind of lacking, you know, behind on that progress with my character, since I really can't complete these dungeons and I can't really get the gear that I need, right? So, you know, which I know there are different ways of getting epic gear, but from what I've seen, dungeons is kind of supposed to be the best way of getting epic gear. You know, there are open world dungeons, but you know, those are kind of a mess with a lot of people camping them and just overtaking the mobs. So yeah, you know, at least for me, it's not been the best experience after level 50 with the dungeons, and just, you know, finding people to do them with, right? Now, there are a few ways that they could address this, maybe, right? By maybe having like different difficulty levels, with like a beginner level kind of introducing the mechanics, but doesn't like necessarily like wipe your group. And then with these different levels, you can have like different tiers of rewards, right? So the beginner level can have a much lower chance of dropping the items that you kind of need, with the higher tier dungeons having a higher chance of dropping the items. So at least you can kind of still feel like you're somewhat progressing your character, and kind of, you know, incentivizes you to want to find and create a party to do these dungeons to get those higher chances of gear. But I think, you know, like having just different options for different play styles is just so important. So I don't know. I don't know what the best solution is. Let me know down in the comments kind of what you think of like the whole dungeon aspect, and do you think we need a solution? But yeah, I did an initial new player review for this game maybe about a week or two ago, and you know, everything was positive for the most part, right? I think this game is awesome. I think the graphics is awesome, you know, and I think this game is incentivizing you to play with a group. I think that's great, right? But I think having different aspects like solo and group is so important for an MMO. But you know, and I like the combat. It's probably one of the better tab target systems that I've played. Granted, you know, BDO's combat's just way better, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of in a weird spot with this game. But let's take a look here at this post, and maybe a few comments, right? There's 819 comments, so I'm definitely not going to be looking at every single one. So I'll just kind of pick a few throughout this post. All right, so it's a crap show in dungeons and just in general. People getting kicked mid-fight, the worst flaming I've seen towards tanks in near 20 years of MMOing, and just generally unpleasant people. I've been kicked out of the group once for I have no idea what reason, yet in every group I'm in, we rotate at least one healer or tank and 2 DPS. It's crazy wild. I can't imagine this will get better. Toxic to the max for sure. Tonight we are 5% from downing a boss in Abyss, and the leader just kicks the healer mid-fight because he's bad. We wiped and he throws a huge fit. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of instances with this right here. Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned previously, I still can't complete Death Abyss. So I don't know. It's just one of those things, but I feel like this is definitely an issue that kind of needs to be addressed, or it's just going to be really difficult for more of those casual players to kind of get into this game. Let's see here. I was in Cave of Desperation Dungeon. Haven't even done that yet. As a healer, we wiped a few times at the boss, which caused 3 members to leave. I stayed. We recruited 3 more members who were level 50. As the boss was about to die, the leader just started booting all of us from the group so that we didn't have time to collect the chest as the boss died. Oh, that's messed up. Wait, what? Oh, I'd be so mad, dude. Oh, I would be so mad. I could have rage quit with the other 3 members who left earlier, but I stuck it out to help the guys who were struggling and get booted for it. Well, that's nice. See, that's a good community player right there. A lot of players just seem to be in a rush, no time for enjoyment. I don't know why they're even playing, because it just seems that they can't be having fun. Yes. I think that's so true, right? Everyone's just in a rush. And, you know, it probably took me like 15 hours to get to level 50, right? I just took my time, enjoyed the questing. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely like, I don't mind spending the extra time on the dungeons, but you know, you would think after at least 3 hours, I'd be able to complete it at least once. But the issue is like what he or this person mentioned is just everyone's in a rush. So if you don't complete it the first time, then they just leave. So yeah, I think this is such an important component, right? Everyone's just in a rush. They're trying to get their gear. They're trying to reach the people who play this game 24/7, right? So yeah, I've said it before in a different thread, but the whole rush to in-game top 100 elite tier streamer mentality has infected gaming and will continue to destroy the enjoyability of things like MMOs for the average player. Yeah, and that's the thing. Right? You see your favorite streamer already at in game, and it's like, oh, I want to get there so bad, but it just kind of creates a rush mentality, and it's just not a good aspect for anyone. This is why I stay away from dungeons and MMOs. I would love to do them, but I'm not rushing myself. I'm not going to work a long shift at work and listen to some a-hole who's been playing 15 hours a day scream because a new player missed a mechanic. Yep. Casual dad, dungeon enjoyer here. Hey, same here. Same here. I think some people are painting some extreme examples here that I haven't personally observed. Oh, hey, that's nice. I mean, everyone's experience is a little bit different, right? Mine so far, I've been having difficulty with dungeons. So let's see here. Here's the rundown. If you use the party finder for 50 dungeons, you can expect almost everyone hasn't run the dungeon before. Probably, yeah. I don't do like the matchmaking one. I do the other one where like there's already parties started and then like there's requirements. So that's kind of the parties that I've been joining into, but still hasn't really worked out for me doing it that way. Almost everyone, the frustration is that you can ask everyone if they need an explanation of the mechanics, but everyone's so afraid to admit it. They won't say anything until the 6th wipe. Yeah, I usually, like before we even do like the final boss, or if there's like a mechanic that's coming up that I think might be difficult, I'll usually just type in there like, hey, we want to try to avoid this, or hey, try to do this when this happens. So I try to explain it before we even get to it. However, I just don't think some people even look at their chat, which is like, why even do a dungeon? Yeah, I mean, maybe so many people have a mentality where like WoW dungeons, for instance, you know, so the dungeons are different from raids, right? If you're doing a raid, you have to have teamwork. But if you're doing like a dungeon, like in WoW, it's like whatever. You can just kind of zoom through all of that, just DPS everything and you're done. But this game's different. Like you actually have to use your team, right? You have to have teamwork. And I think a lot of people are not really understanding that, at least not yet. This leads to so much frustration for people with control issues. Doesn't bother me. There's a lot There's also a lot of people like me who's never played an MMO with mini game like mechanics. Yeah, exactly, right? So, this game really introduces mechanics at an early stage of the game where most players, casual players, don't really haven't experienced that. The first time I had to play Pass the Sheep, well, that was a real head scratcher. Then you get used to it and then hit phase 2, the butcher, and people get stuck in the middle. I've had so many groups say it must be a glitch. They can't imagine a world where that is a mechanic. Again, this gets control freaks angry. I have no idea. We had to use the altars to free people. There's a huge number of people all having their first times with this content while other people are trying to farm. This is why everyone is largely using the dungeon boards. Yeah, so that's what I use. Right now, generally, if you only allow 2K plus people, you're getting people who have been farming dungeons. That's true. Yeah, I'm at like 1700 with my gear score, I guess, and so I'm not able to get into like the 2K groups. So I think it's just been kind of a hit or miss for me. The groups have been great for me. Many times we get good run going, and people go for 3 to 4 clears as we're all farming. The game is pretty glitchy, prone to random slowdowns. Everyone I've been with has suffered accidental deaths to mechanics and has been pretty tolerant. Yeah. I've been playing MMOs since before WoW launch, and I've played several since, some with these minigame mechanics and some with standard wipe style mechanics. This is a common theme that's been increasing in recent years, not that you can't enjoy it without it, but from my personal experience, it used to be so much easier to reliably play content without a-holes freaking out because you aren't perfect or to their standards that is today. Yeah. These days, the hardcore mentality has trickled down to the bottom tier content. Yep. My roommate got to level 50 in 2 days and was pushing me and complaining to me, hurry up. Come on, man. Join in. I need your help. Well, I'm just trying to learn how to fish and craft at level 20. Yeah, so you just got to take your own time at your own pace, enjoy the game for what it is, right? The in-game push to be the best is absolutely surreal. Like, what's the point? You're not enjoying anything about the game at this rate. Yep. Anyways, a week later, I'm close to 50, but I was learned there's not much in-game content. What a waste of someone's game experience just to push to max level. No, I mean, there's plenty of content, and you got to remember, like, this is a PvP game too. So the whole goal is to really kind of do dungeons, get your gear, and the in-game content is PvP. So the whole point of leveling content is to give space for additional in-game content to be developed. I don't agree with that. What? The whole point of leveling content is to give space for additional in-game content to be developed. That's not to excuse lack of content, but the exploration quests and dungeons exist for a reason. But if you rush to in-game and only do in-game, then yeah, there's no content at in-game. What? Huh? No, I mean, again, the end game for this game is PvP, right? There's dungeons, and I know they're going to be adding more as we move on as well. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much level to the max to get to end game, where there is a lot of content. Aren't they wiping the servers? Wait, what? No, they're not wiping servers. End game is not level 50, lol. It maybe starts at fully traded, plus 9 blues and 1. What are you talking about? There's abundance of content unless you're only a PvE enjoyer. And if you know about the roadmap, the battlegrounds they're adding, and a few other content experiences will be more than enough. Have you done a world boss? Have you looted the gear you needed to actually be viable? I'm guessing not. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of content once you reach level 50. It's just, is it content that you enjoy? So, someone shouldn't be pushing you to hurry up, play your own pace. Reason people are rushing is simple. If you're at the front of the wave, you can take huge advantage of impatient people and sell things for crazy prices on the auction house. That is true. That is actually really true. Yeah, because if you can grind out those items, put them on the marketplace, then people will buy them, and you'll have a better opportunity of having more lucent. So, yeah. Dungeons, comparatively speaking, they're quick and short. I don't know why people get Mad about a few wipes in a new MMO. If the matchmaking abuse is intolerable, use Party Finder. Yeah, I mean, they can be short, quick and short, right? If you're in a good group, and maybe this individual is running these dungeons in a, you know, specific group that he knows those people well, right? But yeah, for me, it has not been the greatest. And yeah, I've used the Party Finder. Still no good luck with that as well. Let's see. You need a game where you level slow but always gain things. Micro leveling, it's the answer. Each levels have a few levels itself, like a notch or two or more. Each time you gain that new spot, you get something more. Yeah, I don't like slow leveling though. I think the leveling in this game is like perfect, right? You do the main story and you get to a certain point where you have to do some kind of exploration quest on the side to gain a few levels, and then you're able to do the main story again. Like, I think that's a good blend. I didn't even know the leader could just boot people. That's crazy. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Apparently, let's see, the crown can instantly kick people. There's no vote unless you're not lead. Yeah, if you're the leader, you can kick people, which is kind of insane. But I guess if you're the one who made the group, then sure. I'm not sure how the party. I guess does the party system, like if you matchmake, does that do the same way? If someone's a leader, can they automatically kick people out as well? I mean, it makes sense if you create the party and you're in that party finder aspect where you accept people into your party, but I don't know. This is incorrect. Party lead can kick at any time. Non-party lead can initiate a vote to kick on another member. Yeah. Matchmaking has a voting system. You can't avoid that. When making your own party, though, through the board, you can kick without a vote. Okay. So if you're in matchmaking, then you can't randomly kick. But if you're in the party board aspect, then you can. But that makes sense. Solo mode of dungeons, scale the loot drops. This is same exact thing that was happening in Lost Ark, and I suggested the same back then. It took them nearly 2 years to implement it. Throne and Liberty developers need to make this a priority so people can enjoy the game at their own pace and their own way. 100% agree. Kind of goes back to my very beginning point where you kind of have different levels of difficulty. And I guess you can also make like a solo mode dungeon as well. But again, make the rewards less, right? Make it less, incentivize that group play. So if you do get a group and you're able to complete it, then you have a higher chance of getting those rewards. But I think having different ways of enjoying the content is so important, right? Because so many people, have lives. I have a kid, I have a full-time job, work, 40, 50 hours a week, and then probably spend 10, 15, 20 hours on YouTube a week as well. So don't really have much time to game. And so being able to have different ways of playing a game is so important, kind of at your own pace. This is what I would love. I know this game is centered around group guild play, but as dumb as it is, a part of the MMOs never really appealed to me. I want just to play with a friend or two and be able to go at my own pace. Absolutely adore this game, but I'm dreading getting to the parts where playing with others is absolutely mandatory. Yeah, it's kind of a setback, especially with how much I'm seeing about the community. Yeah, and I think obviously when you're playing an MMO, it's important to have a community and group aspect, right? It's kind of what makes an MMO, but it's also so important to have different play styles that can be tailored to solo play too, because a lot of people are casual players, and so casual players don't have as much free time, and so trying to organize a group to play just becomes a lot more difficult, and it's just more of kind of you're gating those people out. No solo content kills MMOs. I don't agree with that at all. Don't agree with that at all. No, I think, again, having solo and group play is important for an MMO. But I think you can't have just solo content and you can't just have group only content. You got to have a mixture of both. What we need is the devs to disable the ability to kick while in combat and reduce the impact of individual mistakes. Variability difficulty is a beautiful thing. The thing that's actually killing LA is how the fights go from 0 to 100 on the difficulty curve. Yeah, it is true, right? I mean, people are being thrown in these dungeons with these mechanics that they've never really experienced before. Uh, this always happens in MMOs. If the mechanics are punishing, the players will gatekeep. If the players are gatekeep, the game dies. So the correct answer is variable difficulty. Give more rewards for the punishing version. Yeah, just like what I said earlier. But also give a version that isn't punishing with slightly less rewards. Boom. So I 100% agree with that. I don't agree with the solo content kills MMOs. I would say a lot of players actually prefer solo content because they don't have to worry about being able to find a group to play with. Note that I'm not saying the game is hard. It isn't at all, but it's punishing, meaning that a single mistake from a single person at the wrong time can potentially mean the fight's over. So true. It's very true. Yep. Go play single player games at this point. What's the point of playing an MMO if you won't interact with other players? You're missing the point. I mean, I see this so much. And again, everyone has their own kind of play style, right? I think it's one of those aspects where being a part of a large open world where you see players around there's something so rewarding about that. It makes you feel like you're still playing with other players and you're still kind of progressing your own character. And if you ever want to play with people, you can, but if you don't want to, you don't have to, right? It's just like real world, you're exploring the real world every day with people around you, and most people are introverts, and so they don't really approach people in the real world out of their way, right? So you can almost kind of correlate an MMO to kind of like a real world scenario. So yeah, I mean, single player games are great, don't get me wrong, but if you're playing an MMO, you should still be able to play in a single player aspect, but also be able to play with other people too. This is exactly what Lost Ark became, a toxic gatekeeping community that only values experience and doesn't welcome new returning players. I played a little bit of Lost Ark when it first started. I think the combat's really great. I kind of like that isometric aspect, like view. But once I got to end game, like it's just a lot of dailies and yeah. But I don't necessarily remember how toxic the community was. So maybe it was toxic, but yeah, I can't remember. This is exactly what Throne Liberty is right now. My server's top guild gate keeps everyone from world boss fights. Yeah, I've heard that can be an issue. If it was a peace world boss, they can drop an eclipse, which turns into a PvP area. Oh yeah, that's true. And start killing off everyone, and then leave a few of their members there to continue killing other people so they can fight the world boss. Or so they can't fight the world boss. If you're in a guild and you get world boss loose drops from participating, it goes to the guild, and they have to distribute it to you for you to get it. But they can also just straight up give it to someone else that's in their inner circle. Yeah, that can be an issue. That can definitely be an issue. Sounds like fun. I noticed that too. Most of the people I talk to are mutes or simply in a rush of some sort. Yeah, people just don't really communicate. And I think that's kind of the issue with the dungeons, right? For me, I've tried to explain the mechanics and most people don't even type back. So it's like, okay, hopefully you saw my message, but it looks like you didn't. Asian MMO culture, don't type and leave after one wipe. It's developed because of internet cafes where you pay per hour. Oh, that's kind of a good, I never even thought about that. That is true. You pay per the hour. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Interesting theory. Yeah. I'd never kick someone from a dungeon provided they were not a major a-hole, and everyone who does should get some sort of harsh punishment that's at least 2 to 3 times time consuming. Boatloads of people are in a hurry to get to the PvP and can't be bothered with doing all the quests and storyline and other stuff. Also, it's not helpful that you go like 4 parties who can't even be bothered to read the chat. Yes. For the mechanics, 100%. So 1 to 2 hour end of nothing but wipes on anyone's mood. Yes. Yep. That hits it perfectly. That hits it perfectly. You grew up with people your age. If you're 30 or 40 or older, you're probably playing with 95% ages 14 through 25. Zoomers who are mentally brain rotted. Yeah, I don't know who some of these toxic players are. Maybe they're in the 14 to 25 range. I don't know. I'm 30, so yeah, not really sure. They start talking about ages before we had even done any dungeons. I left when someone said they were 13. Oh gosh, I remember those times. I was such a rager back when I was a kid. Whew. I need to find a community of chill, middle-aged gamers. Yes. Considering the 84-year-old I used to game with. 84? Bro, I hope I'm 84 still playing games. That would be crazy. I'm just like, my boomer hands can't keep up anymore. Dude had the best stories. Aw, we miss you, mate. Sad. 40-something-year-old gamer dad. Shout out to the dads. The only thing I'm hardcore at is hardcore bad at gaming. But I still love MMOs. Yes. Yes. And have fun playing them. For some reason, these Korean games with a focus on in-game PvP has always really drawn me in, despite me being utter dog poop at PvP. I'm right with you. And not having anywhere near enough time to grind out the gear necessary to complete. Yeah, that's so true. Must be their art style of making characters and run around as them in a new world. They always go the same way, though. Unfortunately, either way, I get to have some fun playing them, so I'm okay with it as long as they keep releasing new outfits so I can dress up my character. Me and my buddies made a guild with the aim of only recruiting adults who work full-time, a relaxed guild, but can't recruit anyone because it's all kids with no jobs wanting hardcore PvP guilds. I'll just wait for the new world to come out. Oh gosh, 41 replies. Yep. Literally 8% of my random matchmaking groups, the healer leaves when just one thing goes wrong, or people don't do enough DPS and not clear fast enough. As a tank, I don't know all the dungeons. Had a healer leave after I didn't know a shortcut and we did too much trash. He literally wrote, I find a group faster than you can clear trash by. Oh no. 35 minutes for the dungeon to pop up. So many people just quit. Just quit. I'm assuming quit if someone just makes the slightest mistake or if they notice the same. Some of the people doing dungeons are not as geared. Yeah, I had someone screw up the mechanics on a boss to the point they would have killed with themselves were saved by burning all the healer CDs. Then someone else died and the player who failed, causing all the heals to be on CD immediately types, whoever queued for healer should be kicked. Yeah, so toxic. Man, dungeons and WoW were some of my favorite things in MMOs. I just started playing around Throne Liberty and got to the level where the dungeons opened up. I've seen multiple comments online about toxicity in dungeons, and I'm all hesitant to even queue up now. So it's super unfortunate. 40-year-old here. I've been playing for years MMO. The last I played was NCSoft, was Blade and Soul. Played until the game died, and all MMOs I played. It's true, I've never seen so much toxic and negativity in dungeon. Even the forest dungeon. People expect you to watch videos and learn before joining. I'm 2100 and I never did one dungeon yet because I'm waiting these wave of toxic people to quit the game. Yeah, it's a good outlook, I guess. If you don't know the dungeon, say so. Yeah, well, I think we go back into that same aspect where most people are introverts and they're not going to really talk in chat. So many comments, so many comments. Healing on controller. No thanks. I wonder how healing on a controller is. Honestly, controller is actually not bad. I had a viewer who watches me stream suggest playing on a controller, and I tried it and it actually was pretty good. But I don't know how the healing would be. Probably doesn't sound like it would be good, because at least with like healing, you have to be able to click on different people's characters. So yeah. Wow. This person did a huge post. Toxic games breed toxic communities. Yep. Not gonna read this whole thing here. People do not want to put 30 to 40 minutes of their time into a fail run, even if the reason of failure is not on the players themselves, but the class dungeon design. They'll optimize the game, ensure as close to 100% success rate as possible. Yeah. I don't know. I think it kind of comes back down. You have to have different difficulty levels, different tiers, where like, you know, beginner level tier, less chance for rewards, but you should be able to actually complete it, right? It's not going to completely wipe you. That's why I joined a guild today to get to 30-year-old plus members. It's so calm, and when things go wrong, we go again. Someone even brought whiskey for one raid, and we had a good laugh. Yeah, see, that's what you need, right? That's what you need. You just need some cool people. Like, yeah, again, I don't mind doing the dungeon multiple times as long as it's with the same group. But when people are leaving and then the whole party gets disbanded and then you have to redo the whole party, that's kind of where it gets annoying. But if you can find one group where you can have fun with it, no matter how many times it takes you, like that means you're playing the game, right? That's occupying your time. It's bad, but no way worse than what I've experienced for the worst 15 years. Wow. I have no idea what that was even trying to say. If you're good enough to carry, communicate properly, you shouldn't have any issues. Yeah. I don't know. This person must have been getting into some pretty good groups then. The leveling up until 50 is fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed the leveling up to 50. I had the opposite. My group wiped like 10 times, but they all stayed. See, that's awesome. And kept giving tips to each other. Beating, oh no. Beating the boss was bliss. Yeah, it's so rewarding. Like, I think it was doing like the level 30 dungeon. And we failed like 4 or 5 times, but we were all like just kind of figuring it out, right? We were like, okay, we need to do this, do that. And then after like the 5th or 6th time, once we completed it, like it was so rewarding. Like that dopamine just hit and you're like, yes, we completed it. We got our rewards. And it, it felt great. Felt great. Usually from the younger players or PvP focused players, unable to manage their impatience or stress very well. It's so funny. I see a lot of Guild War 2 glazers in every new MMO that comes after Guild Wars, but I don't see them playing that game. I think, you can find a variety of communities within the game. So you just have to look for it. I just did a dungeon. The guy asked if we've done it before. I tell him it's my first time. Guess what? He writes in detail of all the mechanics before the boss confirms if we understood it and said if we fail, we can't just try it. If we fail, we can't just try it again. I literally showed me and at least 2 player who never done it how to complete it. The community isn't all. By the way, the dungeon was 2 a.m. in the morning. See, that's good. See, that's what I was trying to do with the groups that I was with, is just try to explain the mechanics to everyone. But it really just depends on your luck with the group that you get and if everyone's kind of receptive and typing in the chat. For some reason, most of the groups that I've been getting into is like, it's like just crickets. Nice to be in a mature guild, I guess. Haven't experienced any of this. This has to be server based because I've had nothing but neutral to pleasant experiences in dungeons on my server. West Coast. Huh. I think there's less people playing on West Coast. Maybe. Could be maybe server. 2 weeks ago, Throne of Liberty is amazing. Everyone must try it. 2 weeks later, worst game ever played. The community's toxic. Unfortunately, the entire modern gaming experience is toxic. In the past 10 years, there's been a general influx Yeah, FPS players bring in their BS mentality in MMOs. Yeah, I think just change, right? The society way of changing, and everything has to be quick, 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 and everything has to be given to you and all this other stuff. The only way this ever changes, the community takes a stand, actively flames, mocks those that cause toxicity. People need to retake the gaming community and reinforce that chill mentality. Just chill. Just be chill. You see someone being toxic, have at them. The victim, help them out, invite them to a future group. Yes. Yes. Right. Why can't we all just be nice and help people out and just be kind? Like, what? Just be kind. There's no need to be hateful, right? There's no need to be a keyboard warrior, okay? One of the problems in modern game is no one stands up for the little guy, and those that are mocked go to the other games with kinder communities. Then you have all the chill players in one specific game, and everyone else is just floating around each MMO trying to make their own little communities. Yeah, that's a good little post there. Gosh, here are so many comments. Wow. I think this kind of just shows you kind of what the community feels about these dungeons, right? Like this post. a lot of people upvoted this post and commented on this post. Let's see. I had the exact opposite experience. We even waited one time in a raid for someone who needed to care about their newborn baby. Then we proceeded. Oh, that's nice. I joined a random guild and they seemed nice as well. On the other side, I have to say that everyone was quite professional. People pulled one mob at a time. They were able to learn mechanics after explaining them. Whenever I am new to a dungeon, I tell the group that I'm new and ask for advice. That's nice. I know that stupid people exist as well, but it looks like I was lucky so far. Oh, and I'm not on an early access server, so it was mostly free to play people. You know, it makes me wonder. I wonder, since I'm on an early access server, like if that has anything to do with it too. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. Okay. Wow. What a post. And I think this just speaks volumes on this post and kind of the community just kind of talking about it. So, yeah. I don't know. Definitely for me, it's been an aspect that's kind of been holding me back with continuing on playing this game. Hopefully it will get better. But yeah, let me know kind of your thoughts down in the comments. You know, have you kind of run into toxic players, or have you been able to get into solid groups and been able to complete these dungeons and been able to like just kind of continue to progress your character? I would love to hear from you. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Sunsets on black